Hi everyone. Hopes all of you that watching this video is safe in this pandemic situation. Also big thanks for spending time on watching our presentation video. In today's presentation our group will present on the belief system of Orang Asli. This video is prepared by all of our group member which is Timothy Kon Keen Yi, Tan Yu Chin, Zhu Mensch, Zhao Huai, Wang Weihao, Fazane Kabir and Penina W. Wan Jechi. With the ending of the short introduction of our group member, our presentation begins. Our presentation will begin with the introduction of the belief system of Orang Asli. Orang Asli has a much different belief system compared to the rest of the ethnics. They obey these beliefs and practice them as a way of their life principles. These belief systems are such as animism, cosmology, mythical saints, taboos and prohibited actions. These systems influence their daily lives and social affairs. These teachings are passed on by one generation to the other generation. These teachings are transmitted orally such as in storytelling or via myth-making, ritual and symbolic art. After knowing the belief system, now we get in the specific belief system to future understand how does each of them work. First we will get into the animism. Animism is the belief among the tribe of Orang Asli. According to Harvey, 2006, animism refers to the belief of ancient civilizations, which dictates the belief of believing that spirits and magical creatures are part of the environment and we should respect and obey them to avoid disasters from happening. According to the terminology interpretation from Commerce Duan, 2005, animism or animism is the belief that every item in the world carries a type of spirit and magical powers, such as rocks, birds, wind, air and etc. Put in short, animism involves the acknowledgement of spirit presence around us. The Orang Asli believes that there are good or evil spirits around them. The good spirits will protect them, give joy and rewards to them, whereas the evil spirits will be the cause of disasters and sickness. This is the reason why they obey and respect all the organisms around them to not provoke any spirits. As they live among forests which are filled with organisms from nature, it is important for them to create a way to coexist and live harmoniously with nature. Therefore, we can notice many of their lifestyles and taboos often have strong influences from nature, especially their rules and regulations when crossing through the forest. For them, indigenous spirituality is about the acknowledgement that they are equal beings with others, animate and inanimate in the created world. Next, we will get into the worldview concept. The worldview concept is part of the formation of the belief system for the Orang Asli, particularly the Orang Samai. It characterizes the properties and characteristics of the lifestyle of the tribe. Part of its contribution creates myths, taboos, norms and etc. of the tribe. The three human forms in the worldview concept of the Orang Samai. First is Nyanang. Nyanang acts as God, for the belief. The almighty and most powerful being. Secondly, is Maklikat. Maklikat plays the messenger for Nyanang, which indicates he is the medium to pass on God's request and saints. Thirdly will be Nyani. Nyani can be considered as good spirits of the belief. They influence how the Samai tribe behaves and they are able to swift forms when needed. For example, they can become disasters to teach a lesson to the person. There are different types of disasters that happen if they offended the rules. First, we talk about Tenghak. Tenghak is a type of punishment from Nyanang which causes the person to become insane, paralyzed, poor, sick and faced with tragedy. It is a punishment that is implied when they are alive. This concept doesn't only involve humans but also all creatures in the universe. Offended rules such as abusing animals. Then there is Sringluk. Sringluk is a type of disaster happens when the person is lying and doesn't hold on to promises. It will cause the person to be faced with several natural disasters, tragedies etc. This concept teaches children to not lie and to always hold on to their words. Other than that there is Punan. Punan happens to people who don't complete their wishes and goals. This concept causes the person to be faced by tragedies that will cause major bleeding, such as being attacked by animals that will cause death. Next, there is tillage is also another type of disaster that occurs to people who play with small creatures such as insects. This is a punishment by the thunder spirit Enku and it compromises the safety of the village. To seek forgiveness, the person must burn 7 strands of hair as her apology. There are also other disasters like Sumok. Sumok strikes on couples who participate in blood-related weddings. It causes their offspring to become mentally disabled. Tarok strikes on people who fill water in places such as tree holes, ant hills and etc. They will be punished by illnesses such as swollen body parts, bloated stomachs, etc. Last but not least Nui. This happens when spirits obtain the scent of humans. Normally occurs when someone left a piece of clothing in the jungle. The person will then be faced with bone aches, body aches, rashes etc. This practice also dictates the Samai tribe to not dry any clothing during the night in the open. After knowing all different kind of disaster there existing, we will now look into how does all these change the Orang Asli behaving in accordance with their beliefs. A simple explanation on how to behave as dictated by the Orang Asli is good behavior shown by the person based on the actions and behaviors of one project that respects and obey the law of nature. Good behavior can be shown by following and practicing the values and behavior established by society and culture, participation in religious rituals and traditional practices, and proper respect for family, neighbors, and community. At the same time, they should be aware of not committing any disobedience regarding taboos and restrictions. Failure in practicing these habits results in the end of protection from the good spirits, making way for the bad spirits. However, good practices are then rewarded by the good spirits in harmonious life, prosperity and joy. In short, with all the information gathered above, we can list down 3 big principles that Orang Asli follows to dictates the way of their living. Principle number 1, to understanding that all living beings, not only humans, are interrelated in this world. Number 2, there is an inherent essence in being human, which is our soul or spirit. Number 3, humans have the responsibility to ensure all beings are treated equally. These principles form the way of life and beliefs of the Orang Asli. For example, they will not over-exploit nature for food as there is a fear of food shortage. They only collect or hunt for what they need and is just sufficient for them. A study on the Samai tribe of the Orang Asli shows that they do not mix food of different habitats. There is also a taboo named Tulak that dictates kids and minors are not supposed to harm or kill any small creatures such as insects. Any negligence of these rules will bring the person harm.
You gotta get that. Sometimes men wiggle the wagon. They just wanna find a hero, but can't take a moment to get to
For the religion as influenced by others, most of Orang Asli tribes create their belief life on animals concepts, being every objective holds a spirit which must respected. However, as time passes and the increase of communication with outsiders from other ethnics, they start to accept other religions as part of their belief systems. Other than the community around the Orang Asli tribe gives a huge influence to the religion that they choose to follow. For the Islam, Islam is one of the religions that most Orang Asli convert to as a result of political integration by the government through the joy to include the Orang Asli as part of the Malay community. It is also stated that the definition of Malay in Malay Reserve Assessment is amount to include Orang Asli who can speak Malay language, embrace Islam and follow the culture and the tradition of Malays. Besides, there is a news cover in 2005 by New Thread Times indicating that the conversion of Orang Asli to Muslim are generously supported by government. It is stated that Muslim missions that mirror Orang Asli women are entitled to large monetary payments by the government. State government also give them allowance for new hour while drive, monthly allowance and free housing. It results in many young generation of Orang Asli to be converted to Islam from this action. Subsequently, they start to embrace Islam and beginning to lose their own ancestral beliefs. Based on one of the studies conducted among the Orang Asli Tuma tribe in Bonga, the elders support the statement that behind the Islamic conversation of the Orang Asli is strongly supported by the local authorities and the government organizations. These organizations include Jabatan Harun Asli, Jabatan Kemajuan Islam Malaysia, and Jabatan Ma Islam Negeri. In the village, there is only 10.5% of people who embrace Islam as their religion. The first one is Nan Sayang. Nang actions as a god for brave, the animate and the most powerful being. Second one is Makika. For the factors of conversion, the method used to convert Orang Asli to Islam includes cross marriage. Normally, the Orang Asli woman will be married to Malay men and will accept the conversion to Islam after the marriage. They will also practice Islam teachings and beliefs in their household. Another method taught by the is preaching the religion being done by preaching of JHEOA. They adapt and belong into the community and beginning their lecture and preaching on Islam to the two-man trip. At the same time, some of them believe in the teaching of Nabi Muhammad. For example, the assistant of the village chief started to convert himself to Islam when one night he dreamed about the Allah SWT teaching him a way of life. After that day, he started to apply Islam practice in his life for about 3 months. After that, he converted his household to Islam religion. After 3 years, he officially changed his status of religion to Islam. However, there are certain obstacles to Islam among the Orang Asli, including administration of authorities and government agencies to be incomplete. Some of the Orang Asli reject the offer because there is no follow-up and comprehensive system provided by these organizations. The promised rewards to the people are now fulfilled during the process by the department. At the same time, some of the practice and beliefs are bountiful for them. For instance, the need to go through fasting months every year is abundant to some of them, according to survey done by researchers. Another example is some of the Malay villagers around them show a bad impression of Islam practice. The researcher mentioned some of the Orang Asli didn't pick up Islam as a religion because they seen some of the Malay youngsters acting violent and filthy around them. For the Christianity is a religion that widely accepted by the Orang Asli. Many of them convert to Christian from Muslims after the visiting from Europe from the colonization time and approaches from church nowadays. Based on report on the Tuma trip in Boga, which is 58.5% of villagers were converted into the Christians, whereas only 31% stay as and belief, we can notice that many of them voluntarily convert into the Christians. Okay, for the factors of conversion, the major factor of orang asli to convert to Christians is the religion is easily accepted by orang asli. The reason is the surrounding practice are very similar to their actions belief in terms of temples, public habit, actions and etc. For example, the action of spreading holy water to cast out demons and the spread singing session where people go in trance and speak from other language are just a few similar practices that are conducted by the Christians. There is a certain similarity of ancient belief from the orang asli and also the Christians. This made orang asli to accept the teaching easily. Besides, based on the research on two-month trip in Boga, the people state that church and the Christian organizations often provide aid and assistance to them. They will visit the village and take care of everyone. They will also give a resource to the people in need during the festival seasons. The pastor, Mr. David Lim, will attend to the village and hand out the gifts such as rice, sugar, and money to the Toma village. A reward indicate that the standard of the breed of trusting in the village is a recording of any Shumping Tanjung Song's Hanrum. The boy was seriously ill and his family had spent a lot of money to cure them, including admitting into the government hospitals, meeting a bone and etc. But it didn't work when Heaven almost gave up. His friend convinced him to pray to the Holy Spirit and followed its guidance. After a few days, his son started to recover. The apostle took into account the excuse and stated that the recovery is a gift from the Jesus to the people. He earned the other into the power. Since then, Pastor David Lim has attended the village to teach about Christian belief and wisdom from the public every 2 months. Pastor David Lim also elected N. Shrimp to be his assistant. However, certain people didn't convert to Christian because they find it similar to teaching of their ancestors. They think that Armstrong is sufficient for their beliefs in spirit and this spirit can protect them from event. They do not need to follow another religion to gain the same protection. For the factor of conversion, Baha'i faith spread among the orang asli trip visit because of the action by the preachers of Baha'i faith. They intended comprehensive preaching. For example, the purchasers did several varieties of teaching in different languages, including the native language of the orang asli such as Samo, Nego, Tamra, Jangkung. This action provides better understanding to the orang asli about the religion. Besides, the teaching of the religion is easily accepted by the orang asli as they have the same principle and traditions in uniting people and avoiding harm each other. One of the saying by the religion is how beautiful a garden becomes when it is united by all different kinds of colorful flowers. At the same time, Baha'i teaching advice mean to not pollutions religion with politics. Due to that, Baha'i preachers are working voluntarily and are not connected to any political bodies. This fact gained the orang asli faith in the religion. Other than teachings of Bahasa faith are translated to native languages, which indicates that orang asli can easily understand the practice without any language barriers. The acceptance of the Baha'i faith in village injured is shown by practice of around asleep. They commit themselves in several players every day to seek protection and wellness from the alarm god. They often use a Baha'i vision calendar in their house and also conduct community activity once it's as a religion used to them enhance unity and togetherness. The celebration of Ani Ayam and Qur'an 19 Hari is compulsory to them, and during themselves the festivals they celebrate by clothing the new house or community spring the cleaning to produce a closer relationship among the one others.
Shorty, you gotta get that. Sometimes men wiggle the wagon. They just wanna find a hero, but can't take a moment to get to know her.